What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, back with your favorite paperweight. And just because it's a Taurus, don't click off. Just because it's the Taurus Spectrum, do not click off. This one was actually made in Miami, Florida, in Taurus's Miami plant, which has been a huge part of their success in making good, reliable firearms. And it's just a decent pocket pistol that basically anyone can afford. But before we get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the Taurus Spectrum. Let me know your thoughts on Taurus as a company itself. Let me know. Do you like their firearms, or would you never touch one with a 10-foot stick? But trust me, don't click out. This is a unique, good, solid choice. Let's get into it. So this right here is the Taurus Spectrum, a 6+1 setup. Now, it was designed to be completely snag-free, which you can probably tell by its looks. It looks sort of crazy, right? It looks a little futuristic, a little weird, sort of a little weak in a way, but that's not how it shoots. That's not how it performs. As you can see, it has a rubber texturing, which most of our firearms, they just use the polymer and, add some texturing to it. This actually uses like rubber infused into the polymer. So this is all rubber. Even your serrations are like a slippery rubber, right? So you mostly, when you're racking the slide, you're going to require, or you're going to basically rely on these little wings on the back that stick out. That's where your finger's going to rest, because this is a little slippery. The grip, even though it's rubber, it does not get slippery when wet. It doesn't get slippery when sweating. You can get about 1.5, almost 2 fingers on this thing. And with the mag extension, the 7-round mag, you can get a full 3-finger contact if you like that. Meanwhile, it's still small stuff like the Beretta Pico. Obviously, the Beretta Pico, being the thinnest 380 ever, is much thinner. The Diamond DB9 Gen 4 is about the same size. And the LCP Max is a little thicker, right? Just a little thicker. But once again, I think it's got a 2.8-inch barrel. Completely snag-free. I mean, look at this thing. Even when you rub your fingers over this, it's just going to slide right over the little bit protruding takedown lever, right? Or slide stop, sorry, slide stop. Now, overall ergonomics out of firearm this small is hard to come by. But this thing feels actually really good in the hand for what it is. Compared to stuff like the Pico, it blows it out of the water. And that rubber actually really feels good. And I think that rubber is similar to like a hoe grip. If you guys have ever used a hoe grip, the hoe grip helps manage recoil. It absorbs some of that recoil. And I feel like it's the same way with this texturing. And if you want to see me shoot this video, just type in Spin Firearms Taurus Spectrum and you'll see me in the woods. And look at my reaction. I think at that video, click on 3 minutes and 30 seconds. First of all, I shoot this thing, I'm extremely accurate with it, right? We're shooting from 30, 40 feet away, extremely accurate, making shots. And if I'm missing them, I'm just going a little high, which would still hit a human torso in a self-defense encounter. Now, no front serrations, obviously. Rear serrations are weird. Awesome grip, awesome texture. Everything functions. The slide stop works. It locks back on every shot. The mag release shoots the mag out. One thing I want to mention is that trigger, right? It feels terrible during dry fire, right? I mean, look at that. It's mushy. It's gritty. You can hear it, right? You can hear it rubbing. And that's the break, right? And then reset. All the way out here, right? Now that looks like a terrible trigger to you, right? I have videos of me shooting this thing extremely fast because here's the thing. A lot of people go, oh my gosh, that's a terrible trigger, but they're not shooting. Take it to the range, and the trigger is a whole different trigger when you're actually live fire testing this thing and live fire shooting. It's a whole different trigger, and it's actually really fast and enjoyable. Now, I've shot this thing quite a bit, and that takes a lot of work to put hundreds of rounds through it because it's such small magazines. But it's been 100% reliable. I use Underwood Extreme Penetrators, the hollow point version, not the solid projectile out of this, and I've had no feeding issues or anything like that. It locks back every shot, on the last shot, and just runs. The sights are absolute garbage though, but watch that video. I'm hitting with these junk sights. I mean, look at these. They almost resemble like revolver sights or something. It's just little knobs. It's similar to the Ruger EC9S. They're not as tall or anything, but even though you hear me in these videos say the sights are garbage, the trigger's garbage, you watch me shoot it, and I'm a beast with this thing. I'm making shots at distance. I'm hitting the target over and over again. It's just a good overall firearm. Now, I think I paid $215 for it. And actually, what I use is DeSantis Nemesis holster again. I've figured that the DeSantis Nemesis is the best pocket holster for firearms that don't have a good solid Kydex holster from Vetter or Hog holsters or anything like that. It's the best way to go because they're not too flimsy. See, they don't bend or anything like that. and this material doesn't either. It's sort of, if you let your firearm sit in it, it takes its shape, molds itself, and it doesn't protrude into that firearm or go anywhere it shouldn't, or in that trigger guard, or go anywhere it shouldn't be, or have any business going. Overall, it's been a solid firearm. It looks sort of, you know, futuristic and crazy, but honestly, the thing is quite solid when it comes to performance. Now, I know for a while these weren't made in Miami, Florida. Only some of them were. But now that most of Taurus's operations are in Miami, Florida, the quality has just gotten better. And it uses solid Metgar magazines. That was a big thing for Taurus. Stepping up and saying, hey, one of the biggest reasons we're having issues with our firearms is our magazines. Let's go and sit down with a company that makes magazines for a living, reliable magazines for a living, and say, hey, help us out, design our magazines, we'll make this deal, and help our firearms become reliable. And that's exactly what you get. Yes, it looks crazy. Yes, it doesn't have the best trigger, doesn't have good sights at all, looks weird, looks funky, but it runs reliably. If you just want something light for walking the dog, going to the mailbox, a backup firearm, a get-off-me gun, you know, I'm going hiking in an area where it's not wooded, you cannot go wrong with something like the Taurus Spectrum. And for $200, $215, they are arming Americans at a reasonable price with a reasonable firearm. I absolutely love the Taurus Spectrum, and I'm nearing 1,000 rounds with it. So at that 1,000 round mark, we'll do another review video, maybe go shooting it in the woods. But yeah, watch the video of me shooting this thing. Type in Spin Firearms Taurus Spectrum, and you're going to see the joy you get out of something like this. When I'm shooting this thing, watch how my hands are. They're like this. It doesn't go anywhere. The firearm isn't kicking back or isn't snappy. It's literally staying completely flat and just letting rounds go like this. And therefore, it is so fast. It handles recoil extremely well. And once again, it is 380, so recoil is almost non-existent. Although even though it's so small, it handles it really well. Out of all my pocket pistols, which I have almost every pocket pistol out there, this is one of my favorite. And it's simply because of the way it shoots, nothing more. Other than the fact that it's reliable, it's big the way that it shoots, the way I can handle it, the way I use these sights, which in a self-defense encounter with a pistol like this, you're not going to be using your sights and focusing on the target. But at the same time, when I am sitting there focusing on the target and using the sights, I can easily make shots. And what a lot of people do is they'll put some nail polish or some paint, you know, maybe glow-in-the-dark paint on the front and then regular paint on the back. But they make themselves a 3-dot outline. I've heard that's very popular. I've done that before on my Ruger EC9S. But just a good, solid firearm, not going to break the bank. And it's just one of those pistols you can throw in the pocket if you're going somewhere real quick, or hey, I just want to have something light on me that's not going to show, not print, anything. I need a deep concealment firearm. This is a great option. So talk down on it if you want. Go shoot one. If you actually go and rent one, I bet it would change your mind. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments. Thanks for watching.